This is your Apex Legends Global Series Summer Circuit Super Regional #1 recap. Try saying that 3 times fast. I'm Kate, and let's get into it. Game 1 was a battle of the map. Nasser, Strafe, and Dell may have kicked off round 6 with incredible positioning and gold shielding, even taking out the likes of Team BTX in the final round with the classic thermite grenade. But Dead Inside would prove their hold was greater as they would slide in that third-party positioning. They would take the win, and with 15 kills to their name, they'd also snag that #1 spot in the standings, a position they'd hold on to game after game. Now, Game 2 brought a typical late-game aggression we've become accustomed to in the EU by showcasing a not-so-typical team from the EMEA. The phrase "survive and stay alive" was never more appropriate than this round that showed Nasser Esports push through the late rounds despite a teammate disconnecting early in the game. They would take the W despite a Gambit push in the late round against Dead Inside, and the Game 3 drama would take shape in the form of the final round portal dance as Gambit would find themselves up against the Russian and Ukrainian team Zani W, who would ultimately take Game number 3. Gambit would do what Gambit does, and that is maintain consistent aggression throughout the tournament, and while they survived on a pylon and a prayer in Game 3, they would find themselves alongside outsiders with 34 points overall, only 5 points separating them from the overall leader, Dead Inside, going into that elusive Game 4. Game 4 had an outcome no one saw coming, as a 3v3 final circle gunfight broke out in the open between Gamers Origin and Third Impact Black, and though GO enjoyed the power of a Mastiff, Third Impact Black would evade those shots and take the W with 11 kills. This win would catapult them from their 17th place they had coming into this game to 7th, potentially securing them a place in that July tournament. Now, Game 5 was all about the points bubble, the difference between a smooth ride to the finals and a grinding schedule of qualifiers. Dead Inside had been sitting pretty at #1 overall throughout the entire tournament, but with the swift early departure of big teams like Nasser, Strafe, and Dell, Alliance, and Gamers Origin, the stage was set for some new blood at the top, and blood there would be as the last 4 teams battled it out in the final circle for Game 5 that featured a multi-tiered team fight between Gambit, Myth, Outsiders, and Dead Inside. Gambit would have the high ground, and they would use it as one by one those squads would fall. Ultimately, Gambit, the UK squad that had spent the tournament climbing the leaderboards, chasing Dead Inside for #1, would find themselves at the top, taking the tournament and securing them the prize pool, a place in the September playoffs, and the first ever win for the new EMEA Super Regional in this ALGS Summer Circuit. Now remember, you can look forward to seeing our top 10 teams from this Super Regional in our July tournament, as their placement guarantees them an invite. Game 1 for the Americas Super Regional saw the Rat Strat work for the team from South America as Brazucas held out throughout the entire late game despite some incredible pressure from the likes of TSM, Rogue, and Noble Black. Now, Rogue would find themselves on top with a solid kill point total, this despite the fact that they came in towards the bottom of their qualifying matches. Now, Complexity came into Game 2 motivated to the teeth and, of course, armed to kill. Rogue may have made their way to the top of Game 1, but this time they found themselves down to a single player in Sweet, whose Rat Strat wouldn't be enough to get them to the final circle, but would allow for Yeet Squad and Complexity to make up some points, bringing the 3 to the top of the overall standings with a Complexity W. Yeet Squad would make Game 3 their own as the team from NA came out on top of the 1v3 final circle. Now, that performance would follow them into the top spot of the overall standings. Fun fact, Complexity Gaming were the last team standing in Game 2, but the first team to fall in Game 3 due to some technical difficulties. Now, going into Game 4, those standings saw Yeet Squad at the top, while TSM, Complexity, Noble Black, and Rogue were all within 5 points of each other. It clearly was anybody's game, and everybody knew it. Game 4 may have been characterized by aggression early and often, but it truly came down to the final fight. TSM versus Rogue, 3v3, high ground, low ground, all-out madness, and then, like poetry, the push began. TSM's Imperial Hal pushed up. Rogue's Sweet pushed down. Then it was Snipedown's turn to put the R99 to good use and claim the victory. Remember, Rogue came into the fray in 5th place overall, and with their cool 11 kills in top spot, this game would jumpstart their tournament dreams all the way to 2nd place, with only 18 points separating them from that top spot. Then it was Game 5 that saw 4 squads eliminated in the first round alone. With aggression like that, you know it's going to be good. And while TSM would take Sweet Game 4 revenge over Sweet and the rest of the Rogue squad, and Complexity's Monsoon would find that his R301 seemingly couldn't be stopped, it was Godsent, a team out of nowhere that would claw their way to the final circle and ultimately the Game 5 win. But what did that mean for the overall standings? Yeet Squad fans, rejoice. The NA boys are your tournament winners here in the Americas Super Regionals. GG. Now remember, to keep up with all things Apex Legends, head on over to @PlayApex and playapex.com/ALGS. Looking to be part of the action? Head to battlefy.com/ALGS.